Disclaimer, classes in Trove are built very much the same, so if you have watched any of my other build guides, then there is quite a lot of things that will repeat itself, but you can bypass those parts by the timestamps in the description. Also, my guides are always updated, so if I was to stop doing YouTube, those guides would go away. No misinformation will be out there, and I will always update my videos/guides if something major happens to the game content. If something minor changes, it will be in the description. Hello guys, Wahoo here, back on the video. This time around, we are doing a build guide for
LUNAR LANCER.
Yeah, so the intro is going to be very much the same as if you've seen it before. You can skip ahead to maybe the demo or something else. But yes, the intro is going to be different just with which class we are going to do. Basically just telling you, if this is your first time watching one of these build guides, what you can expect from the video. So as you can see right here, I did make it into chapters, also indicated by timestamps, which is in the description or on the video. And first we are going to start with a 5-minute demo, just showcasing the class, what abilities do it have. Kind of just showing off, not going into detail what they basically do, but just showing them off, and maybe that will interest you at making one of these classes one of your mains. After that, we are going to do a quick look at overall stats for every single class. So for this class that you're watching right here, we're going to do it for that one, and also in general we are going to talk about stats. For example, like crit hit and crit damage. That's going to be some generalization right there. And then we are going to move into gear and everything there's on the gear page. That is, of course, banners, allies, head, face, weapon, and also rings and food, emblems, flasks, so on. So everything there is in the gear page, we are going to go over that one as well. Then we are going to cover gems. Mostly we're going to cover the empowered gems, of course. We're also going to talk a little bit about the smaller ones, but mostly we are going to go into the big empowered ones, or the big gems, that is. And then for lastly, of course, as you can see right here on the screen, we're also going to talk about the star chart, or the talent tree as I basically call it. So that's what the intro was all about, just letting you know what the chapters are and how it is going to work with the timestamp. So you can skip ahead if there's something you already watched. You can skip ahead to doing that, or you can basically watch it all if you feel like you want to do that. But that was the intro. Now we can jump into the demo. All right, let's take a deeper dive into the LUNAR LANCER. So as you saw from the demo, if you saw the demo, there is quite a large kit, like lots of abilities that the LUNAR LANCER actually had after its rework. If you played it way back, kind of wondering what all happened to all the abilities, and I'll go over them right here because it has two different forms. It kind of works in a different way, and it just makes a lot more sense if I just go over every single ability real quick to show you guys how it actually works, because maybe the demo didn't show it completely. So just to clarify how the abilities worked, let's talk about every single ability. So first things first is that the LUNAR LANCER do not benefit from a max energy. The energy, the little, let me open here. This one, of course, the little one right down here, they don't benefit from that from max one. It just has 100 straight up. If you go to the stats, as you can see here, it just has a flat 100, and usually you can get a bunch of max energy regen, or not energy regen, but just max energy from some dragons and such. So 100 is not the max if you have every single dragon, but the LUNAR LANCER do not benefit from energy because it do not have energy, and that's also why energy regen do not work on the LUNAR LANCER. Basically, it has moon power. It looks completely the same. It's still yellow and all that stuff, but the thing is that it gets its power just kind of like the pirate captain from doing abilities or just auto attacking. So it gets more from doing abilities. Usually if you saw me just kind of attacking, you saw this just doing this mostly in the demo. It's usually just what happens. You can actually also see the swing here is what it used to be its number one ability. So now it's on the third attack. It's gonna do, well, I guess it's the fourth attack. It does 3 and then a swing, right? So it's kind of the fourth attack, I guess, but it should be 3 and then doing like that. But the thing is, it gets the moon power from doing abilities. Also, it gets more from doing abilities. So if you do your abilities, you kind of saw this one. It kind of doesn't really do much. It just shows you up. But what it does, as you can see right down here, it empowers your grappling hook. So the grappling hook, as you can see here, it grabs out and it grabs you towards something. You can go right here. Whoop, that takes you right there. You can see that that's the grappling hook as well. So kind of the idea with it for the LUNAR LANCER is that you go up and that empowers this one, and then you should go back down with your grappling hook, and that does extra damage. And as you can see here, I'm gaining here some of this moon power, and it doesn't go down. It does if I do go to a different character. It's gonna go to my this one and go back to the LUNAR LANCER. You can see it does reset. So if you have almost close and you reset, you change class and it goes away, it's like, oh my, I almost had it, all of it. Yeah, you have to start over and doing it again. But you can get it from your auto attack as well, and then you can hop into your ultimate form, which we also are going to talk about. So basically, the normal form, as you hear, you jump up, you go down, and then you grappling hook there. But you doesn't have to do the empowered one. You can just do this one. You can see that you gain a little bit of moon power by doing that as well. But let me just grab some more lunar power, some moon power, to get ourselves the thing all the way up here, and I can show you guys the ultimate form as well. All right, I've built up some moon power, as you can see right here. You can also see it around my character that the moon is sort of going away from the sun. So you kind of go into, you can guess the sun is going away from the eclipse, I guess, that way. I didn't get all of it because I wanted to show you guys this form here, or this basically. So this builds up so you can basically have a better view of how you are progressing on this one, so you don't have to look down here, but you can see around your character. So let me just grab here a little bit more, and I can actually also do just like that. And now we are fully up, as you can see here. I'm just gonna fall down. You can see now the sun is all around me, so that means that I have full power. So now we can hit our number 2 ability, our ultimate. You can see it right here. There we go. There it goes. And you still have the grappling hook, but you also have this one here, the LUNAR Slam. It's basically, I don't make a lot of mess here. No, I don't. Okay, cool. So that's basically what it does. And then also, I should probably not do it right there. But then you also, of course, you have your ultimate that does like a big, lance down into the ground and does a lot of damage as well. And then basically you get back to your normal form when this one runs out. And there's no kind of way to prolong this one because your your class gem doesn't do anything towards that, but it's basically just you have that duration. And again, energy regen does not, counteract that. So if it did, you'd probably be in your form a little bit longer. But that's kind of how it works. So basically, do abilities, do auto attacks, hop into your ultimate form, do even more damage, and then hop out of it again. That's basically the kit. It's a little bit more convoluted than some other builds or some other classes have, but overall, it's just a lot better, kind of ability wise, because it's a little bit more complicated. But that's it for the abilities. As you can see, they're all right here, and of course the class gem is right here. We'll talk about that. We can actually talk about it right now, because what it does, the class gem, is that it spawns small guys. You probably saw them, or not small guys, they kind of look just like me, but they spawn guys around you that do damage as well. I don't feel like they're super amazing, fantastic. It may be in longer fights, but yeah, it basically, I would not really use this much if you're just gonna, farm and you have the power rank that I have around that. You don't really need the class gem. There is other class gems as well. But the thing is, it's just, it just spawns copies of you that do damage as well. But I guess they do a little bit, and that's also fine. So I don't know about how much damage they actually do, but it is like an AI thing, it's so you can't really, and if you're one-shotting things anyways, really, so then like they're not really gonna do anything at all. But that's the class gem. So yeah, just wanted to mention that with that. And that's of course the grappling hook and all that other stuff. So let's talk about the subclass. Of course, because this LUNAR LANCER is one of the better subclasses, or maybe one of the best ones. Solarian is pretty good, but also Knight is pretty good as well. They're all really, really good, but the LUNAR LANCER is also very good as well for many classes. But of course, we cannot use the subclass for its own class, so we are gonna go with some of the other ones. And I would suggest you go with the Knight. You can go with any one you really want. Go with the one you have the most levels or most power rank on. That's really up to you. That has some sort of benefit to it. If you do have, like, let's say you have, this is the Ice Age, for example, and this is the Knight. So if these are like sort of the same level and sort of the same power rank, I would rather go on a melee class, for example. I would go with the Knight. But if you have maybe a magic damage user, maybe go with this one. If you rather have the magic damage going in, but it's only 750, which is not really a lot. It does have some multiplications and stuff like that inside the stats and stuff like that, but it's basically just the magic damage there. So I would go again with the Knight, if I also for at least for physical damage characters. But you can go with anything you really want, but these are really the best ones you can. Of course, you cannot go with the LUNAR LANCER for the LUNAR LANCER, so that's a little thing you just have to keep in mind. But you can go with Solarian, but I would always recommend the Knight, because the Solarian is a little bit hard to get. But I would say maybe in the end game these are very much the same in some ways, but it really doesn't matter too much. You should really just go with whatever you have the highest power rank on or the highest level on. That's really what you all have. And then, of course, in the end, when you have everything like I have it, you can go with maybe the Knight or something that you feel. You can also, there's also Pirate Captain for extra magic find if you feel like you want to do so. But the thing is, this is the subclass you wanna basically look for going, and also the Knight is a starting class, so pretty easy to get as well. So let's talk about the stats. Here are our stats. It is a physical damage character, and I didn't mention in the beginning, I should have probably done that. It's more of a farming class, dungeon farming, not so much as bossing class. They did do a lot more damage now. After the rework, it does a lot more damage. Also abilities do a lot more damage, and also the ultimate form does a lot more damage. So it can do bosses much better now, but I would say it's a lot better for just dungeon farming. Bosses is alright, but again, I feel like, at least my opinion is that it's more of a farming class. But anyways, it is a physical damage character, so you want to go as much physical damage as you can. You want to go as little, you can even see that I do have some base energy regen, but it doesn't matter. It don't work on it, the class. So you can also see, of course, my bar is not going up at all. So just basically have 0 of this one, and then you see the max energy pool is there. I'm pretty sure if I go to another class, yes, you can see here on my Dracolite, I have 127 max energy region, energy actually, not energy. I keep saying energy region. I'm sorry, but yes, I have 127. So this is the max because this benefits actually from max energy. So you can see that no matter what the Lunar Lancer does, it's going to be on 100. It's only 27, but you know, it's kind of nice that it, you know, has a little bit more, but it just has a flat because it's again not energy. It's actually also only moon power as it's called, but I'm probably going to refer to as energy. But yeah, that's what basically it is. So you can see this is my attack speed and this is my critical hit. Critical hit needs to be around 100. So you can see 151 is way too much actually. But yeah, that's mostly just from gems and such. So, but you want as much critical damage as you can get and also as much light as you can get. So light, critical damage and physical damage is what you want to have absolutely most of. Attack speed is a nice thing on the Lunar Lancer because again you have that 4th hit. As you can see, you want to get to that one as fast as possible, but this is the attack speed that I have on my you know, Lunar Lancer, so you can kind of compare. If you want to go faster than this, you should go for some more attack speed. And also I can go, this is my just movement speed walking around, so this is how fast I'm kind of going. I know you can't really compare yourself to that on a YouTube video, but the thing is, this is just kind of to say how much you want to go for, because attack speed is very nice. You want to get to that 4th attack as fast as you can. You can of course get into your ultimate form a little bit faster if you really want to go much into abilities. So yeah, that's another thing if you want to do so as well. But I have around this much attack speed and I have this much movement speed. That's because that is just more going into how we're going to talk about items and stuff like that when we move into that in a little bit. But you can see these are my stats that I have here. So again, as much physical damage as you can, hit that 100 critical hit as the first thing. You know, physical damage, critical damage and light is gonna be like something you cannot really outcap. You cannot really outcap the attack speed either. There is a sort of like a soft cap, so far I remember, but I wouldn't really try to hit a cap or look for a cap at attack speed. Just get some attack speed, really maybe on your gear or on some of if you have all the dragons as I have, you know, then you basically have as much as you can see right here. I do have a little bit of on my face, but I'll show you guys that in a minute. But you can go with basically either, you know, always go with either attack speed or movement speed, and that's really up to you. So if you really, again, if you really want to use your abilities a lot, you know, to gain that moon power and then get into your ultimate form like that, then you, of course, you just want to focus on, you know, movement speed for doing that. You know, you don't want any attack speed at all. Of course, some attack speed you cannot avoid because it gets you from dragons. So that's sort of how it all works. But this is, you don't want to hit 150, you want to hit 100% and then get as much critical damage as you can and as much physical damage as you can. And also, of course, as much light as you can as well. That's basically how all the stats works and how all your stuff you want to look for as well. So let's talk about the gear. Let's talk about our hat. First of all, we want to go again with the critical damage. Critical damage is always, you need that always on your gear, no matter what class, because all classes benefit from critical damage. It becomes better, of course, if you have 100% critical hit. If you have like 10% critical hit, then of course critical damage is really bad. But usually when you get up there, getting 100% is not that hard to get anymore. It used to be a lot harder, but now it's, as you can see, pretty easy. And I'll actually show you why it's pretty easy. That's mostly because we also have crystal gems in the game and such, and they have very high critical hit, and you can get it from rings, and we have better rings now. This is only a level 1 ring, for example. Level 4 would have a lot more critical hit to get it there. I know 4 would be it's not that super easy to get either, but still, this is a lot of, just a level 1, it's a lot of critical hit when you get that one. But we want, of course, our critical damage, and then you want to go for movement speed or attack speed. That's really up to you. If you really want to go attacking even faster, I don't feel like you would benefit it or you would notice it very much. So I wouldn't go for that. I just rather go for the movement speed, because the movement speed, first of all, is just nice, moving around faster always, but also you are a melee class, so getting to the enemies faster is just a little bit better, and keeping up with the enemies as well. As you can see here, you don't lose any, movement speed by attacking. That some classes do have that. So when you do attack with those classes, classes, they actually lose movement speed. So you're actually going to keep up pretty nicely as well, even though, but movement speed is movement speed. So you probably wanted to get it as there. And then the magic find on this one is just up to you, whatever you want to get if it, that's the fourth stat right there. But the movement speed and critical damage is what you really want, in my opinion at least. But again, you can also go with the attack speed. Same thing for our spear here. You can go with, again, with attack speed or movement speed. I went again with the movement speed and the critical damage as well. And the stability is just something I put in there. It could be also critical hit if you want to do so, if you want to get it, you know, get closer to that 100%. And then of course for my face, this one is sort of not debatable. You can go with movement speed instead of attack speed again. That's the same thing. But the physical damage and the critical damage is absolutely necessary. I really wish that hats also got, you know, physical damage or magic damage on their 4th stat. So we don't like have something like magic find. Sure, magic find is cool and all that stuff, but I'd rather have physical damage here if I could. You know, I know there's already physical damage on this one, but yeah, some more interesting stats on gear is something I would be very, very happy to do. But yeah, the physical damage here is absolutely necessary. So just your facials should at least look like this. Again, you can change again the movement speed for attack speed or other way around. So for a ring, we want to get, of course, a crystal ring. The stats don't really matter too much. I got with one with the magic find, but you should just go with one that has the absolutely levels. So this is a level 1 ring, but you want to get one that has the most levels. So it doesn't really matter the 3rd stat. You really don't want to look into that too much. Again, you can if you're really missing some critical hit, you could go with some critical hit there. If you're missing it, and I would rather take a level 1 ring with critical hit than like a level 3 ring, for example, or 4. Maybe a 4 I would pick over that, but it really depends on how much critical hit I already have. So, but I would go with a level 1 ring if it had critical hit, so I can get closer to the cap if that was the well, it's not really a cap, but the, you know, you want 100%. Everything over 100% is not going to benefit you. That's the point. So I'd rather go with a level 1 than a level 4 or 3 if it had, you know, the critical hit, and the other ones do not have that. So basically, just the 3rd stat don't really matter too much. Just craft yourself a ring and you are going to be cool with that. But the thing is, we also of course need a banner, and you want to get a U10 banner, and the stats don't really matter on this one. You can go with anything you really want because the stats on it, the 3rd and the 4th stat, is not that super impactful. It can give you some extra flash charges, which is really nice, but overall, it's not a big, the big thing is, of course, the light on it and also the physical damage on it. So that's the 2 things that is amazing, of course, with the U10 banner. That's why you want a U10 banner, and you don't want the one that I have right here. But the point is, any banner you can equip, as you can see here, is also quite nice. A U10 banner is, of course, the best one, and you want to get, of course, one with physical damage and light, but that's on all of them, except if you, of course, craft a magic damage one. But of course, you want a physical damage one right here. But that's why we really want those. We really don't want it for the 3rd stat or the 4th stat on them. So you can go with anything you really want to craft there. And also, you can also collect the banner and then recraft it if you wanted something else on your banner. That thing. And then for the ally, we are going to go with the Ernie. It's going to give you a protective shield, which is pretty nice. You can also go, and I know my face is right in the way, but you can also go with, you just want to go with the Ernie. There is a physical damage one right here, but it does give you some movement speeds, but I don't feel like it's that much. It's nice, but, and yeah, but usually I kind of just want to go with the Ernie. It's because the Ernie is just a lot easier to get than actually the Scorpius, as it's called right here. You do get some health back, but you are basically killing things usually that fast that you don't really need to worry about that. And this one is also much harder to get. So when you get to the point where you can get this one, you are going to probably not really rely on that health getting back and such. But so go with the Ernie. It's a lot easier to craft. I have a guide in the description to tell you where you are going to get all these allies here. That is in the description as well, with a bunch of others, you know, guides as well as for that one. So let's talk about Flask, and here is really the death defying old shadowing. Every time it's just death defying here, because you just get it, you know, you can basically not die. There's some one-shot mechanics that can kill you, and also you can bug and stuff like that. That's of course something that can happen, but the point is that you cannot die when you have flash charges, and when you run out of flash charges, of course you have to be aware of that. There's other Flask out here if you want to do some other shenanigans, but I really don't want to cover those because it just takes a little bit too long to talk all about all these here. But you can play around with all the Flask you definitely want, but if you have the death defying, it's just so easy to get, and it's just so good, so why not? There's not really much to talk about Flask anyway. I'd rather talk about emblems, and emblems is a little bit more important, and that's of course because we got the arcane and we got the martial one, and the arcane and martial one is of course the one that has the magic damage for magic uses, and the physical damage for what we are playing is of course the LUNAR LANCER, the physical damage one. So this is mandatory in one of the slots, and again you get it from the store and it's in-game currency, so it's just so easy to get these two. Also for the magic damage users, but it's just so easy to get, and it's just so crazy good. When you use a Flask, you get 250. I can show you right here. See, I have around 300,000 physical damage. If I pop this one, I almost hit over 800,000 just by having this one. Of course, it only lasts for 3 seconds, but you have, when you get into the end game and such, even in the start game, you have a lot of flash charges, and then you can basically get a lot of these extra damage when you jump into a dungeon and do this one. Then for the second slot, you can go with many other options. So one option, the one emblem slot is mandatory, one of these, but you can go with other things in the second slot, and that could be, for example, trailblazing for extra jumps and movement speed if you are going to be a little bit of a speed farmer on this one. I know some people are speed farming on the LUNAR LANCER a little bit more in the past, but I think people are still doing it. But I think people do like the kid, but I think I think people went to some other classes for some speed farming, but you can go with the trailblazing if you want to do so. Nothing with energy regen, nothing with energy, that doesn't work. You can go with the unwielding if you want to do so. The unwielding to give you a little bit of a shield, so when your flash procs, it doesn't keep taking charges if you have the death defying. Of course, it's gonna help you, of course, the other ones if you have the ones, but it's not gonna proc automatically. But it does give you a little bit of a protective shield. It's very short duration, but it does give you a little bit of chance. Basically, when the enemy or the boss, whatever you're fighting, is gonna hit you, you are going to basically die, and then the death defying is gonna proc, and then sometimes, or in many cases, bosses hit that fast that it's gonna keep taking your charges every single time. Basically what the unwielding is gonna do, and basically how the duration is sort of, in my experience at least, that is that when the boss hits you, the unwielding procs, and then it's long enough, the duration, that when the boss hits you again, it's gonna hit the shield, and then the shield is gonna be over, and then the enemy is gonna hit you, and then you are gonna proc the thing again. So basically you have twice as many durations. So that's sort of how long the duration is. You should kind of know how much it is, and you can just go with that one. You can also go with some of the ally emblems, but I'm not a big fan of those. They are a little wonky, just like we talked about our little clone guy that spawns, that it's gonna do a nice fine job, but I just kind of feel like there's other emblems that do much better. For example, like the bountiful one, which has a chance of not consuming a charge, so when it procs, or when you use it yourself, the death defying, it's gonna have a chance of not consuming a charge, and I can see that's one I'm also using, so it actually has a chance of not proc, and that does it based on both things, both using it yourself and also when it procs itself. So basically you can maybe have a lot more charges. It's only a chance, it's not a guarantee, so it is a chance. You can run completely out of charges without this procking at all, but in my experience with having 24 flask here, I had never seen it never procking in that 24. So I think like the proc 10 is pretty big. I would say maybe a 25% or so, maybe a little bit higher than that, but not 50%, but like between 25 and 50%. I would say that is the proc chance of this one is pretty high. This one, if it was not that high, it would not really be worth it either. I feel like it's worth enough to mention at least. If you're not above 80% critical hit, you can also look into the Sure Strike emblem. The Sure Strike gives you 20% extra critical hit for 10 seconds, which is really, really a long time. And that's pretty nice to have that 10% extra. So if you are below 80%, it's really nice. But when you get over 80%, it kind of becomes, you know, worse and worse and worse. So you should look into something else when you hit over that 80% to get that one as well. But that's the emblems you can go with as well. So these are the emblems that we are looking for. So let's move over to talk about the gems. All right, so let's talk about the gems. We talked about the class gem before. That's really up to you if you want to have these little guys spawn here. But if you have other options, if you want to go something else, there is plenty of other good options. I might want to go here with you could go with a pyro disc, or you could also go with explosive as well. But the class gem, if you have that one, it's pretty cool as well. So I would definitely, it's not on, what is cool about it, or what it makes it not bad, is that it's just on basic attacks, which the thing is, you are attacking so much, so you are spawning these guys. And sometimes, if you saw the demo, I actually had 2 guys up. So I guess you can have as many guys as you happen to attack with. But what I mention is that it's cool is that it's on basic attack, not on kill, for example. So if it was on kill, then it's like, yeah, well, you kill something, right? But then if you're fighting a boss and that it only procs when the boss dies, then you really don't have any benefit from it. So it's just on basic attack they are going to do this here. So yeah, I don't know how much damage these shadow ones do, but again, you could go with something else. A pyro disc, again, that's on what's on kill, right? So if you're fighting a boss, a pyro disc wouldn't be that very nice, but if you're just farming, it would be very nice indeed. But you could go with the cubic instead. That actually also gives you a protective shield that absorbs the next attack and also stuns the attacker. So I would go with this one if you are not going with this one. But mandatory, I would 100% go with the pyro disc and with the explosive. So I don't have those. I have a stun burst and I have this one. But these two, if you would like my setup here, because I want to keep the the class gem, I would go with a pyro disc here, and I would go with a explosive as well. So those are these two ones you want to go with here. Doesn't matter if it's blue or red, that has no benefit at all. So yeah, just to saying that. Yeah, so if I was to go without the class gem, I would go with the cube, I would go with the pyro disc, and I would go with the explosive as well. And of course, I want to go with physical damage, critical hit, and critical damage in all my gems. That's all you want to do for all these red, blue, and yellow ones. For your cosmic ones, you want to go with light. That's always on the gem. And then if physical damage, you also want to go, but then you want to go with critical damage. You want to go with critical damage in all these the third stat, the thing you can actually change on this one. And then you want to go with the battle berserker. I went with the barrier here. Barrier is also okay. That's sort of I would say a third option you could go with if you're just farming a little bit more lazy. I guess this is the lazy option. Just gives you another barrier to kind of protect you as well. But if you really want to do damage, you want to go with the battle berserker, and then Vampiric is a good second choice. If you're just again also farming, that would also give you some health back on critical hits and such. But if you really want to do damage, you want to go with the battler, because it's gonna give you attack speed, it's gonna give you light, and that's gonna kill things. And then you want to move all your extra boost on from level 5, 10, and 15. You want to go with those on the light stat. You always want to move it all into the light. Doesn't matter what the other stats on the gem is. You always just want to put it all into a light on these 3 right here. I do have a guide down there that's going to tell you all about how you are going to move those around. If you've seen any of my other guides, I've also talked about this. So moving these into here is a very good indeed. So also, again, critical hit. If you have as much as I have, you maybe want to roll it away to maybe, flat health, maximum health, or flat maximum health. So either you just go with that, because, these are 50% at, yes, max health, and max health percentage is not going to give you more damage, but it is going to do something instead of just being kind of dead. The 51% or 51.9% I have on my critical hit is basically dead stats. So if I really wanted to min-max this one, which I don't because I have my Dracolite, then yeah, I would have moved some of these around from critical hit to something else, and also moved the boost probably and such, and that like min-max it probably, but I haven't. And also these are of course not the gems that I really wanted on if I really wanted to go completely LUNAR Lancer as well. So again, Pyro Disc, Explosive, maybe the Clash Gem or the Cube, and then the Battle Berserker or Vampiric or the Barrier could also be a good choice. But yeah, and then of course that's all you want to go around. So yeah, that's our stats. That's our LUNAR Lancer. So I covered everything there is with the LUNAR Lancer, but we're not really done yet. We do have to still talk about our star chart and how we are going to do that with the physical damage. So that's coming up right. Alright, so now we got the physical damage part. I don't know if you saw the magic damage one, but the physical damage one looks very much like the magic damage part, because this over here you got, of course, still the critical damage, which is a lot of great notes over here. You do have to spend 1 point right here, which gives some magic damage to get into here, which I think is a little silly, but that's just basically how it is. But there's a lot of great physical damage notes going through up here. There is a little bit of a note out here. I was kind of debating with myself if I should get out here, because it is a lot of points again going out here. But it does give you 5% magic damage and physical damage. But yeah, it's not super great out here. And that's the same thing if you saw the magic damage part. The green ones means that they're okay notes out here, but you really don't want to go for them, because you can see there's many notes going in there, so it's not really necessary. You can see the other ones, the red ones are sort of like more clumped together, which means that they're just really, really great. And my idea with this was that you go through the magic damage part and then, or critical damage part, and then well, you can go for the physical damage part first, and then of course the the critical damage part, and then you can go either this way or this way down here. So these sort of the things I would definitely go for a physical damage character. Go through the physical damage, critical damage, and then out here with the light, there's a little bit of good light notes out here. Again, also kind of a nice note here. You don't have to go very far, but it gives a little bit of critical damage. But other than that, you don't going to go further through this. There's some nice flask notes, but yeah, flask is not like a permanent. I just feel like the permanent buffs are just a little bit better, because it's going to give you all the time. So if you don't have any flash charges, you know, it's not going to give you the same. So I'd rather go for some you know, hard facts or hard stats, if you can say it like that. So yeah, this is the physical damage part. Again, you can pause the video if you want to see which ones you want to go for. Again, it's just my opinion on which ones you should, you know, at least be aware of. That's it for the video. Click the video on screen that's coming up right now. YouTube thinks you might like it. Also check out the description for all my ultimate guides that goes into more specific things in Trove. And also hit that like button, would help me out very, very much. Also consider subscribing. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.